The Dark Angels are going to battle. They need good leadership, leading them into this fray. It's time for the Interrogator-Chaplains to don their Terminator armor and lead the Deathwing Knights into glorious battle. So I'm going to need to build some. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek video. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, and today I'm coming to you with a fun video that I'm very excited for. I needed a chaplain in Terminator Armor. I'm calling them Interrogator Chaplains because I feel like if you are leading the Deathwing, then you're probably part of the Deathwing and therefore probably an Interrogator Chaplain in my book, even though they are no longer in our codex. So this guy's an Interrogator Chaplain in my book, and probably in Ezekiel's book too. So, but I'm excited for this because I'm not just buying the kit or using one of the other kits. I'm gonna kit bash my own. It's not a super hard kit bash. This is it's pretty easy, but I think it turns out pretty fantastic. You're going to need a few different bits and pieces. I utilized, you'll see as I talk about it, but I utilized the new Deathwing Knight box. So I used the Knightmaster from that. I used a piece from the Inner Circle Companion Kit. I used some extra little bits and bobbins that I've had collected that are Dark Angel-y from like the old Dark Angels upgrade sprue that are probably all about out there. You may, if you are a Dark Angel player, have a bunch of in there, but you don't need to use those very specific ones. You can use anything that looks fancy and ornate that would make for a good Crozius. And I used the head. The head was one that I was looking through and trying to figure out. I had a bunch of different options, and I ended up going with the head from the Asmodai kit. It comes with two heads, the Asmodai kit. One has the hood up, and one has the hood down. And I wanted the hood up one for Asmodai, so I had the extra skull face there. So I went with that one, the one with the hood down, so it's kind of like around his neck, which kind of like pairs really well with the fact that he's got like the draping from the Deathwing Knight kit itself. So I thought this would be great. Use that head, but I had a bunch of other options that I was working with. I had this weird one that I've never even seen before, and I'm not sure where it's from, but it was like runner-up over there. And then I had a bunch of Reaver heads, which would have been perfect. So, at the very least, you can just use some Reaver heads. I had plenty of them left over from when I had made them, years ago. And I think that they're easy enough to get out there. I don't think a lot of people are using Reavers. They had the push fit kits that were there for a while, so I'm sure there's bits around that you can get to just get a skull face on there. I'm sure you could also put an actual skull piece onto the face of a Terminator head. But it was easy enough to scrape it down, and you'll see what I did with it to make it fit in there. You can make the regular Space Marine heads fit in the Terminator armor. You just got to work it around a bit. So, and I'll show you how I did that. And we're also doing a little experiment with the painting phase of it. So I hope you're going to enjoy it. I certainly did. And I'm going to want to know what you guys think about it, because it's kind of an experiment. We'll see how it goes. But before we go any further here, let's get into the meat of this whole video. So this is a pretty simple kit bash, but in my opinion, very effective. I needed a new chaplain with a storm shield, so I thought, why not just make this happen? So I took out the new Deathwing Knights kit, and I used the Knightmaster from that kit, and decided he was ornamental enough to make him look like a fancy Interrogator Chaplain. And I thought that would be a great way to go with the Dark Angels. Very Dark Angel-y, less like the generic one. So I used the basic body, everything got assembled that way, and then I took the head, the extra head from the Asmodai kit. So he has the one with the hood and one without the hood, and I wanted the hood one on Asmodai, so I took the one without the hood and cut off the neck and just shaved it down a bit and had to cut out some bits just to make sure he fits in there. But in the end, he fit very well once I got it, working there. And then to make him as Crozius, I took the mace from that kit and I glued these decorative pieces that had come from the Dark Angels upgrade sprues of old. I've got a gajillion of these things. You could just use anything that just looks very decorative and glue it onto the sides there, because of the flat sides of the mace itself makes it easy to glue these kind of things on there. And I thought it looked really rad and very Dark Angel-y and aggressive, which is what you want from a Dark Angel's Interrogator Chaplain, in my opinion, because he's leading the Deathwing, so he's got knowledge there. And then I used one of the sensors from the Inner Circle Companion kit, and I cut off the bottom part that attaches to their backpack usually, and instead just glued that to the back there. I was thinking about pinning it, but it's a very small bit that I just thought was going to higher chance of ruining it if I tried to drill into it, let alone do that. And there he is, all primed up and ready to go, looking rad. I'm super excited how he turned out. And now we'll go into the painting, but I will tell the story of Interrogator-Chaplain Ananiel. He slowly walked through the halls, musty with age and disuse. Not many were allowed down here. The cold slap of his feet as he made his way to the cells. The smell of incense heavy on the air, but it didn't do much to cover up the stench of unwashed bodies and stale blood. As he approached, a serf looked up and bowed. "Welcome, Brother Chaplain. The prisoner is waiting you." Brother Interrogator-Chaplain Ananiel entered the room and saw the man chained to the far wall. It disgusted him to think that he was also a dark angel at one time. But his time had passed. He had proven disloyal, and loyalty is its own reward, and loyalty is paramount. As he approached him, the man slowly lifted his head and looked into his eyes. "You know, we did not shoot first. The lion attacked us." Ananiel slapped him. "I will not have you defame our Primarch. Now, I will ask you again, do you repent?" The man looked back up, spat out a goblet of blood. "I do not repent, for I have nothing to repent." Ananiel crouched down and looked into his eyes. "You have everything to repent." He stayed there in silence, staring at him. He then stood and made his way to the door. As he opened it, in the hall was a large, dark, looming figure. He looked at Ananiel and nodded. "Brother Interrogator-Chaplain." Ananiel dropped to a knee. "My lord." "Rise, Ananiel." The lion reached out a hand to help him up. "You have done well. Leave him to me." Ananiel paused for a moment, frozen. For centuries his job had been to make these heretics repent for what they had done. "My lord, you don't need to waste your time with this kind of scum." The lion held up a hand. "These are my sons, just as you are. It is my duty to make sure that they find their way home. You did well, and I will see you again." So there you go. Interrogator-Chaplain Ananiel. I was super excited how he turned out. It was a lot of fun to build. It came together really easily, and it was the kind of kit bashing that would be really easy to do at like a novice level. It didn't require like a bunch of sculpting. It didn't require a bunch of other bits and bobs. It literally just required all the tools that you would have had for building models anyway, and some other extra bits and pieces from the actual main kit. You just need a couple of other ones. And if you're putting together a Dark Angel's Force right now, you're probably going to have all of the pieces that I talked about anyway. And if not, you can find replacements and things that would work for you, but just kind of the same idea. The main part being just the Deathwing Knight kit is very cool looking. I really like how the models look. I just don't have a need for more of them right now. I've got plenty of the older ones, but the new bodies look awesome, and I think they're going to make some really cool kit bashes for things that like that, or maybe even going forward. Maybe I'll do a unit of Deathwing Knights, maybe with the swords, so I have like some options there when I'm going to kitting them out there. And we learned the story, or at least part of the story there of Interrogator-Chaplain Ananiel. That was fun. I hope you guys liked that. Let me know what you think, if I should do some more of these like kind of short story bits to go along with it. I thought, you know, you could see what I'm doing with the paint job there. I've got all of the different paints there with the little hexes there. Those are all Army Painter paints. So some of them speed paints, some of them the Fanatic paints. You can tell, you know, you can see them there, and you can see what I'm doing with them. So it hopefully give you an idea of what it is that you're looking at. And it was a fun model to paint up, and it was a super easy, quick paint job that I did there, but I think it looks really rad. If you just take your time and you know, go through things and take it bit by bit, you can make it work really well. And if you're careful with the speed paints, you're not going to have problems with, you know, bad looking models. The extra dry time from the speed paints as compared to like contrast paints, I think really adds to getting like a smoother finish on there, so you don't have as much of a problem with coffee staining and pooling. As long as you're careful with it and you make sure that you take care of it, it gives you more time to take care of that problem before it becomes a major problem. And you know, as I'm going through this, like you do want to take care to try to keep them off of other parts before you go on to paint that. But if you do get some on the other parts, it's fine. You just wait till it dries and then go back in with, you know, some matte white and put over the parts that you got the color there, you know, and one coat of it is fine. You don't have to worry about getting like a solid coverage, because once you put on the next speed paint, like as long as it's kind of covered with the matte white, it's not going to be a problem. You'll just get that whatever color you put on top of it next is going to take dominance over whatever vestiges that you can see through that layer of matte white. So, you know, just take your time, but not too much time. So don't go crazy about getting it onto other parts. And if you do get on other parts, like I said, just go over it with some matte white. I did a lot of that when I was going through there. So I hope you guys have all, let me know down below what you guys thought about it. If you think you like the lore, if you like the short stories. It was fun to do. I really liked it, and I thought it was a cool something different that I thought would be kind of interesting. So let me know what you think down below of both the model and also the video and how I did with this. So I'm interested to hear what you have to say. So leave a comment down there. And as usual, I would like to say, you know, I'm a part of the Army Painter Factory team, as you saw in the beginning of the video, and as you probably know by now if you've seen any of my other videos. And that comes with benefits, not just for me, but also for you, my fine viewers. If you go to the Army Painter and you put in code FactoryGeek5, you can get 5% off of your order, and you can, and that's just a benefit to you guys that I wanted to, you know, negotiated when I was signing on to the factory team there, make sure that I got you guys taken care of. And if you're in my Patreon, you can get a 10% discount code when you become a part of my Patreon. I've got that behind the Patreon because they asked me to keep that 10% off there, but the 5% I was able to give to all of you fine people watching this video. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly did. I really hope you enjoyed it because this was a lot of fun. As always, I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, and until next time, stay safe and have fun.